Hi, Sammy.
Hey Zaid, you sound happier today.
Yeah, I think I'm not emo anymore.
That's hype. Can you turn yourself up at all?
No, but I can move it closer and
Okay,
see
I
what
also
happens.
turned my monitor and Discord to max, so I can hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, okay, I can actually hear you great. So, what's going on? Give me the brief.
Okay, let me try to think. Um, I guess I'm happier this week, which is kind of funny because this is the first week I've lost to Azel. Um, so I guess I would
Maybe that's
expect to
what
be
you.
more sad, but I'm not. Um, I did an I did analysis for like 30 minutes every day for like 4 days of the week.
Wow, that's super good.
Yeah, it was not easy, but I made notes and I Fox is like basically all I'm focusing on right now because honestly, Fox for me, I've been like it's like so much worse than everything else for me. And
Hmm.
although I'm still like a clown in a lot of matchups, it's most apparent with Fox. So and also Fox is the most common character, so I would like to suck less versus Fox. Um, and then second after that would probably be Falco. I did a lot of analysis. I think I learned a lot um, about myself. I think two things. I actually wrote a lot on this Google Docs if I could show you, but I used to think like the reason when I'm playing really bad is like is just like a lot of time I don't react, and that's really true. But I noticed that what might even be more prevalent is that I just throw out if I look at them. I'll still throw out an aerial even if I know it won't whiff. I know you said it
Yeah,
was like shadow boxing, but
yeah,
actually,
we talked about like shadow boxing to make sure you can aim properly and know
yeah.
what
But then I actually thought about it and I realized I think I know it's going to whiff, and I still just want to do the aerial anyway.
you're. Hmm.
I'm just weird. And then like the other thing is like I think I subconsciously don't go for grab based options a lot of the time when I could because I just don't want to deal with tech chasing like subconsciously. And so I
Yeah,
realized that's really
that's the
bad.
Dewan.
Yeah, so then my gameplay was just based on like, oh, he's at 0%. I'm gonna hit him with a full hop nair, and then I'm like flying above him, and he's like, oh, I guess I just up air you now.
But it's like you could have just grabbed him for free.
Yeah, and then so I had to literally like analyze like, why the fuck am I doing this
No,
now?
this is really good. I like everything you're saying is 100% right in my opinion. I think it's super important stuff too.
Oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the fact that I finally was able to convince myself to analyze. Um, although I tried the game plan thing. Like I reviewed my game plan before my sets in at the tournament on Tuesday, and they did not work at all. But like I played like I feel like I played the worst I've ever played. But I feel like that has to do with other factors where I didn't really feel like competing that day, yada yada, and uh, I like even though I said like to react during my wave dashes and stuff, I clearly did not when I was watching the set.
Yes.
Um, but I did analyze it a good amount. Um, but what I analyzed even more was a set with me versus SFAT, like a net play set. But I guess I went full OCD mode because I analyzed like maybe the first minute or two, but I analyzed them to like as extreme as I possibly could. So I think
Okay.
that was more in depth, and so I think I'd like to show you because last week you said like there are a lot of things good about the way I play, but I think the thing I showed you last week was me playing well. I think it'd be nice for you to see what it's like when I play terribly, just a little
Okay.
bit, and then
Yeah.
we could go over that a bit. But then I think I want to go over the net playset because I analyzed it to such an extreme extent that I want to see what your thoughts on my analysis are because I have the document ready. I could share it in the so everyone can see too. Honestly, if
Yeah.
you
Sure.
don't mind. Um, so At the very bottom is me versus Azel recently, and right before is the net play set. But for some reason on the outline it doesn't display that section.
So go to page 12. All right, 11. Yeah, I see. Yeah, there's an outline on the left.
Yeah, but
that one's kind of wrong. No matter how I try it.
Like the net play set, and I don't know why.
Oh wait, do you want the net play set, right?
No, I want to see the Azel thing just to show you a little bit.
Wait, so you versus Azel is the bad play?
Yeah, that is like I played. I didn't even give up. I just played quite bad. And
it happens.
I did some analysis on that, but it wasn't nearly as extremely in depth as the net play set.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we could do a watch together link and then change it after a little bit to the other VOD.
Sure. So my question is, are you going to start grabbing more?
Yes, I've been doing that. I forgot to say, I finally found someone I can battle. R2D-Lu is free to net play a lot, and his connection is amazing, and so I've been playing with him. That's been really good. Apparently, he beat Rocky at like a different Tuesday local, this past week. So, but yeah, we've been playing, and tomorrow Brandon's coming over, so we could play some CRT Melee. That'll be nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I really want to grind out Fox and Falco. Falco's like the second priority for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah, even though I think I'm like terrible versus Marth, I still have the privilege. So I'm just focused on the animals right now.
Thanks. Okay.
So
well, I
want to show you the last game.
Okay. I'll skip. Is it on Battlefield?
No, it's on Stadium.
Oh, it's really short.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, let's see it then. Okay, do you have it open?
Yes.
Okay, do you want me to look at your notes only, or do you just want me to watch it?
Actually, just watch it. Actually.
Okay. I'll just watch.
I have like overview notes. I think that's more applicable, so I could just show you those afterwards.
Let me go back.
I do not like how I jumped here when I could have seen him running at me.
I actually think if you... this is complicated. Okay, so give me a second for my brain to work.
Yeah, I feel like dash dancing here doesn't do anything.
Yeah, so it doesn't do anything, but more importantly, I think the fact that you messed up actually threw off everything for you for a second, because you actually messed up your movement, if you notice.
Yeah.
And I think that messed you up a little bit. So then when you went down, you were less ready to think about what to do. Yeah. And I actually think what you did was good. But if you were ready, you would have seen that Azel was right next to you. And I've seen you just run up and hit him before for stuff like this.
At this percent, I feel like I just dash grab.
Yeah, you could. That's what. Sorry, I should just be specific. But yeah, like you could have just grabbed him, but also just like, I think that if you hadn't messed up, you might have watched him more carefully and saw that he ran off.
Yeah, I think very simple things can take me out of like what I need to do. I'm just like, everything's wrong.
Here, I'll move my mic so that there's less echo. Yeah, so I think that you might not have noticed that, but messing up, and the funny part is, it's hard to notice because I actually think what you did afterwards was still good, but I definitely felt like you were a little less focused because you didn't quite see that. Why would Azel just run off right in front of me?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It took me out of it, and I think I should have dash grabbed though, because I think jumping at this range is not...
Yeah, I mean, I would have like boost grabbed him.
Yeah.
You're talking about when he lasered, right?
I think I meant when he was like... No, I meant a little after when he was running at
Oh, okay.
I was saying
you could have even boost grabbed him for lasering.
Yeah, that's true. That's an option I don't use that much, but I did like tell myself in my analysis.
Okay, so I need you to reframe how you view some players for a second. So I'm going to give you some cheat codes. Okay, so have you noticed the number of times I've watched you fight Azel, and I'm like, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
So he clearly is just willing to do stupid shit that doesn't make sense or is bad risk reward. And I'll put it this way. Everyone I have played for years has the fear of God in their hearts because when they see the Sheik on the screen, they know they're going to get grabbed and they're going to die, right?
Yeah.
So the people I play do not just sit there in ranges where they can get boost grabbed because they've played me before and they know that Samuel zero to death tech chase them and they'll be sad. Azel has not been killed a million times by a Sheik, so he does not have the fear of Sheik. So that means when I watch him play and the way I watch him move, he's playing as if like it's good risk reward to be near Sheik. Like he doesn't realize that he's taking risks that could literally lose him entire stock. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
And when I play someone, it's usually really obvious almost immediately what type of player they are because they either understand that I'm going to wobble them over and over or they don't. And when they don't, they play really like they play very like brazenly. Like they just walk up, they're not afraid, they jump right in front of my face, like they don't care. And it's like, wait, you have to care, and then you have to make them, you know?
I must make them care.
So you need to figure out what type of player is which faster, and then you need to take advantage of it. Like you need to make them realize how risky they're playing, essentially.
Yeah, those lasers were like 4% for the price of death if I was powerful.
Yes. And I'm not saying that going for boost grab is always the right choice, but it's just like there are times where instead of just respecting people in neutral and moving backwards, you should either run in or stand still. Because even if you didn't go for the grab and you stood still, you essentially won neutral because now you're close to Fox and he's not doing anything.
Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, so like your goal versus Fox, I mean, ultimately, you know, you want to be able to fight him in a way that's good risk reward for you, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is running up to Fox is scary because he has better risk reward on the ground than you and he has a good full hop and all the shit and he can CC. But if you just stand still right next to him and he does something useless like a short hop laser, then you've effectively won neutral. Do you see what I mean? So winning neutral isn't just I dashed back to bait him into doing something and I got him with the back air or whatever. Winning neutral sometimes is also, look, I was willing to stand next to you while you did a useless action because you weren't actually reacting or you don't understand risk reward. And now because I was willing to take that small gamble, I have a better situation than I otherwise would have.
That makes sense.
Because if you think of it like that, look how Azel quote unquote won neutral. So what he did is he ran off lasered in your face and then ran halfway across the stage to running shine.
Yeah.
Is that like a good option for Fox?
I don't think so, but here's the thing. I've played with Azel more than I've played with any other human on Earth.
Yes.
I think he knows that I personally have a flaw in that I run away extremely more often than I not run away.
Yeah. Yes.
I think this game, it might have been this game or like the set, but I think this game I lose like 3 stocks to deep running shine area.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, I don't think he's only doing that just because it's Spark.
Really? Okay.
Like, is there another VOD of him fighting a Sheik with Fox?
There's Azel versus Captain Face Roll on YouTube. But
Can I look at it real quick?
But he gets slain.
Who does? Azel?
Yeah. Azel also has gotten farmed by Nut every time. Which is kind of wild to me, but I mean, Nut's good.
It's not wild to me at all, because I think Azel plays like a dummy a lot of the times, and the SoCal Sheiks will just kill you for that, because every SoCal Fox plays like a dummy, so they have a lot of practice against it.
Oh. Well, alright.
I'm just watching through it real quick. I wanna look around and see what I find. There's a stadium match, so I can just look at that. Same stage. Okay. Look at the first thing Azel does in this game.
How?
I linked it.
Okay. Azel. thing.
He just fucking runs halfway across the stage and tries to shine you, right?
Yeah.
And notice that Griffin is doing completely different actions than you, right?
Yeah, what exactly did he do? I've watched this set like 10 times.
He was just charging needles because he was like, there's no way the Fox is just going to run at me. If that were me, you know what I would do? I would wave dash back like Griffin did, see the Fox coming in from halfway across the stage and just grab him.
Yeah.
Because I'd just be like, what does this Fox think he's doing running up on a sheik?
Sort of assumed like that's not a thing people do. But
yeah, he's just like, why would he do that?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, he will do that. And you should grab him for it and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So here's a good example clip. Watch from here.
Okay.
Look how Griffin grabs him.
Yeah, he like fox trotted back and turned around and grabbed him.
Yeah, and again, look at what Azel did though. It's like, why are you naring at a sheik just because she's next to you, you know?
Yeah.
But it's because he doesn't have the fear that something could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Does this make sense?
Yes.
Like, this is very important, I think, to understand. Like,
getting wobbled. People aren't.
Yeah, it's literally like you need to. You know how people fight ice climbers really badly because they think everything will get them wobbled,
Yeah.
even when it won't. And then they do stupid shit like you used to do, where you double jump badly. But then we analyzed, we figured it out, and you got good at the matchup, right?
Yes.
If you play in a way that makes people understand that the risk they are taking will get them killed, they will fight you like they're fighting ice climbers, and then it gets really easy to fight them.
Yes.
I remember I played Captain Crunch in friendlies before tech chasing was a thing, and I was the only one who did it. And after 2 games, he was like, wait, so fighting you is just like fighting ice climbers? And I was like, yeah, kinda. I mean, not exactly, but it's similar. And then literally for the rest of the session, he just platform camped me. And it also made it really easy to beat because it was always obvious that he didn't want to get grabbed.
Yeah, interesting. When I play Ralph and Azel to an extent sometimes on the triplans, I think they jump around a lot and I can't seem to hit them. But
yeah, but we showed you last time, like sometimes you just have to run under them or you have to shadow box hitting the platforms, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. I tried the thing that you told me to do with the replays, and I found that only if I'm expecting a certain type of jump and I'm quite close can I be like, oh, look, jump, nair.
Yes, and in fact, I think you can only really do it when you're actually seeing her jump squat. I actually think if you wait to see her go fully airborne, by the time you nair, you'll either get fared or she can drift back and dodge your nair.
Mm-hmm. I never really rising fair, though. 'Cause I'm done.
Well, no, you wouldn't have to rising fair.
Oh.
So I'll put it this way. She, to do a perfect AC fair, she, do you know what frame she fares on?
For perfect AC fair, no.
She fares on frame 16 of her jump.
Okay.
Okay? So you know their reaction time is somewhere around 15 minutes, right? Maybe a little faster if they're looking for it. So let's say 14 if you want. So fair hits frame 5, it hits frame 6 in front of her, right? Mm-hmm. So that means 16 plus 6, 22. So you're hitting with fair on 22, roughly. So if they have a 14 frame reaction time, which is like a pretty quick one, and then they dash nair with Fox. So, like, well, actually, let's say they're already dashing. So just nair. Do you know how long Fox's nair takes?
Frame 7?
Yep, frame 7. So if he has a 14 frame reaction and he's already in range to nair, like he doesn't need to travel at all, like he's already right in front of you, then yes, he could nair you and barely beat or trade with a perfect AC fair.
I see. Yeah,
and that's with no drift at all.
Yeah, also I can just double jump to the platform. I could do so many things.
You could just short hop and drift fully back, and then he whips the nair and gets fared.
Yeah.
But also, again, this is with him tunneling on looking for the jump and being in range and having a frame perfect nair. So essentially what that means is in the average situation, Fox cannot see you jump and hit. So if you feel like that's happening, they're actually just nairing stupidly and you're just jumping too much.
Yes, I figured that out too. Actually, I was confused about jumping. I think I asked you. I also asked Griffin. And
Okay, so we can talk about it now. But first, does the other thing make full sense?
yes, that's pretty much what I figured out when I tested it.
Okay, and you saw why it was so valuable to try it and be like, wow, I can't really do it.
That's true.
But if Fox looks for jump squat and he reads that it's a jump instead of a wave dash, he can do it every time.
Ah.
But then if you wave dash backwards, you would just be whipping the nair and you'd get grabbed.
Wave dash in place and then spam down holding.
Yeah, or like forward tilt or something.
Forward tilt.
Anyway,
Nair can even come out, or
well, you can forward tilt, so it gives you the ASDI down.
Oh yeah.
Because like I don't like just crouching with Sheik because she's so short. So like getting a grab when Sheik is
the ASDI down thing. You told me that with Marth. Got it. Cool. I should do that.
Yeah. Yes. Very good, right? You could also just get the CC grab, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah, I found it to be quite hard.
Okay, so now that we've talked about all that, do you want to talk about when to jump?
Yeah, Griffin said, jump probably only good if they stay grounded. It's pretty good versus them running shine. Just jump also good if...
Wait, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Griffin says, jump probably only good if they stay grounded. It's pretty good versus them running shine. Jump also good if they're doing platform things. Besides that, I think staying grounded almost always might be the play.
Okay. So I have a slightly different perspective, but I think everything Griffin said is really good.
Okay. I like watch Griffin and I see him jump and I was like, wow, that jump, like it was very hard for him to like get punished for it, and he's reacting during it, and he can threaten in so many ways. So I feel like jumping's good. Whereas if he just did like dashing and stuff, maybe wouldn't be as good, but I just can't articulate when and why it's... I don't know. When I see him versus Fiction, I was like, wow, that jump was pretty smart, it seemed.
So there's essentially one piece of missing information from Griffin's description.
Okay. And
it's that jumping in general in Melee can be a less committal way to directly counter an approach option. So think about that for a second, and then I'll... So it's a less committal way to directly counter an opponent approaching.
A less committal way to directly counter an opponent approaching.
So let's take the running shine example. Running shine is a perfect example for that. Yeah, so why is jump good versus running shine?
I guess technically you could just F-tilt him in the face.
You could just F-tilt, you could just grab, you could just dash attack, you could wave dash back, you could, do a ton of things.
That's what I'm thinking. So why is jumping valuable?
So, if you're only trying to F-tilt and grab and stuff, then you can be baited into doing those and just get whiff line, right?
Yes.
Let's say you jump to counter him coming in, but he baits the jump. He still has to guess what you're going to do out of your jump.
Yes.
Because you're not committed to a grab or an F-tilt that's reactively whiff punishable. No jump sequence is reactively punishable because you have the mix-up of drift forward, drift back, fast fall. Do I fair or do I empty land? Do I wave land forward? Do I wave land backwards? Do I double jump to the platform? Do I fall with needle? Right? And we've talked before about how there's the mix-up between fast fall and not fast fall as the main thing, right?
Yeah.
And I've told you about how if they run in to punish a fast fall aerial, if you do no fast fall, they would just run into an attack and get hit.
Yep. And you can also, and if you don't fast fall and you drift forward, then it beats what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly. But if you do like short hop, fast fall, waveland back, and they try to whiff punish, then you get a free grab or tilt. So there's a lot of VODs of me and, there's one VOD of me and lots of VODs of Plup where we fight Leffen, and every time we jump, he tries to drill at us, so we waveline back and hit him, and that's like the easy way to beat Leffen with Sheik. Because when he sees Sheik jumps, he tries to force the whiff punish on the fair.
Yeah.
And we've talked about all that, right?
Yeah. I spam waveland back a little too much, so I've been actually experimenting with waveland through them. Or it seems like if they're like, at least if they're running deep inside me, then I can get through them, and that makes it easier. Because I waveland back a lot, and then it's like,
well, instead of wavelanding, you could just do a full drift forward, and when they run through you, you can turn around or back air.
Yeah, I've learned about got that from analyzing, and I've been trying to do that a lot more.
From analyzing what?
You said turn around and F tilt?
No, I said you can drift forward and then back air or turn needle.
Oh, turn needle. Okay, yeah. I know about the back air. I didn't think too much about the...
Yeah. It can be good, especially at low percent. Or at high percent too, actually. But anyway, more importantly, so yeah, that's why jumping can be good. Because, if he runs in, he can't CC your aerials and punish them as easily. Because if he's at 20% and you want to forward tilt him, that's not that good. Because if he shines, he'll just ASDI down option select and then do something. But if you jump to fair, it's like you fair him, he's ASDIing down instead of CCing, so it pushes him pretty far back, and then you get a mix-up after. But if he baits it, you get all your mix-ups instead, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest reasons you can jump.
Wait, so if he baits your fair...
Let's say he baits you into jumping, he doesn't know what you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it can be safer than a grounded.
Okay, this makes sense.
I will say there are ways to make grounded counterattacks safer. So, for example, people focus on F-tilt and grab a lot with Sheik, but I actually think a lot of the highest level anti-ground stuff with Sheik is using dash attack. Because if you do dash away, wave dash away, and then dash back forward, and you see Fox running in, you can dash attack as he comes in, and it'll go really deep through him. So if he tries to do anything on the ground, it'll counter it. But one advantage to dash attack is that it's so fast compared to it's slightly faster than grab, but you can also set up the dash preemptively. So all you have to do is press A when you see what you want to see.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's really high reward, and it can be kind of safer. Because even if it hits a Fox at 20, it can still be safe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw Griffin doing a lot of whip punish dash attacks, and that's one of my main notes that seems really good. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, and so I actually think dash attack can be a good anti-ground option, and people don't really use it like that.
Yeah, they don't. I had thought about just dash grab. Throughout these sets, if I just dashed one step JC grab, I could have just stopped all of these run-ins.
Yes, which is, I think that's what you really should be doing for sure.
Okay.
But as the percent goes up, using dash attack instead of grab can be really good.
Okay. I will keep this in mind. Okay, so...
So anyway. Wait, what's up?
Okay, I guess we should finish first, and then I'll say, or you can read. I have, this summary, I suppose.
Okay, well, there's more things I think to talk about.
Okay.
So the other time you want to jump is it's Sheik's best way to be aggressive too, right? Safely.
Wait, the other way to...
So there's jumping is good to counter their approaches in a less committal way. Particularly their ground approaches, but could be other approaches too.
Yeah.
But then the alternative is Sheik's jump is good at generating pressure on people.
I know this is the case for when they're shielding.
Well, just in general, even if they're not shielding, you get mix-ups, right? Because, let's say you have them cornered and you jump. If they try to whiff punish you and then you drift in and fair instead, they get faired and they die. But then if they wait for the drift in fair and you just auto-cancel fastfall fair, they're just sitting there in the corner waiting for you.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Waiting for the drift in fair, but you fastfall fair, wouldn't that not hit them?
Yeah, you wouldn't hit them, but then you're actionable and you can dash or forward tilt or jump again while they're just sitting there waiting.
Okay.
So, for example, you can, whiff fair, and then they think you're going to F-tilt after, and then you just dash attack instead, and then they lose their stock.
Wait, say it again.
So, let's say you whiff a fair, and then they waited for it, and then they think you're going to F-tilt after.
Why can't they just whiff punish the fair?
Well, because they don't know how you're going to fare. That's why I said the first part. Because, if they think you're going to fastfall fair, you can drift in fair them. But if they think you're going to drift in fair and you fastfall fair, then they're just waiting really far away, and then you're just actually...
Punish it? Okay.
Yeah. So that's why it's good. Because then you can kind of set that mix up for free. And then if they, let's say they're okay, well, I couldn't whiff punish the fair, so I'm going to play the next layer of I think he's going to F-tilt to protect himself. But instead, you can just dash attack, and then they die.
Interesting. the fast fall fair have to be auto canceled?
It doesn't have to be, but it's just less lag, right?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. A lot of the time when they're in the corner, same thing happens where I jump and I get nared in the face. But then
Yeah. So this is what I was gonna explain. So just wait. So first of all, does all the other stuff make sense?
Yes. What if I wave land back? Would that be them naring in the face?
Yes, a lot of the times, unless they're daring you on the way up of your jump. But what I was really gonna say is, so because Sheik can only really generate offensive pressure by jumping, a lot of good foxes just use Nair a lot anytime they think Sheik thinks she has an advantage. So it's like an anti-meta thing. So like if I'm Fox and let's say the Sheik like knocks me down into the corner, but she doesn't have time to tech chase, okay? A lot of the times what I do is I get up as Fox and then I dash forward and full hop Nair. Because a lot of the Sheiks, when they knock me down and can't get to the tech chase in time, just go, oh, well, I can't get there, so I'm just going to try pressuring him. And how does every Sheik try to pressure? They jump.
Yeah.
So you have to think about how predictable or not it is. Essentially, Sheik's best way to create offense is by jumping. But because of that, a lot of people will look for it at certain times. So if they know you think you're going to pressure them, they're just going to jump. They're just going to jump in and attack. But that's really powerful for Sheik, because if they do that and you just wave dash back, you just kill them.
Yeah, if you just wave dash back when they thought you would jump, I think you just, well, maybe if they touch you, you could CC. But
yeah, but if they don't, then you just F tilt or grab them.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Oh yeah, another thing is if you whiff punish with F tilt or down tilt, a lot of the time I'm either timing it wrong. Azel would just ASDI down tech in place.
Yeah, so you're doing it too. Well, actually, it depends on percent, right?
Yeah.
Because he can always ASDI down tech.
Yeah. Assuming I F tilt him when he's touching the ground, which is probably
yes.
all the time.
So if he's naring you and he is at a low enough percent, he can ASDI down tech.
But is that just below 69?
Whatever the percent is, yeah, I don't know the number.
Okay. All right.
But yes, if he's on the ground and he's usually trying to shine an L cancel, he will always be ASDI down tech.
Yeah, okay, got it.
But if it's so yeah, you need to be aware. But, yeah. So does this all make sense?
Yes.
Cool. I feel like we had a very good talk about jumping.
Yeah,
so
I now understand, because it was just racking my brain this past week. Like, why do I like jumping? I don't know why I like it.
It's because it's the only way she can actually, like, do things.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just kind of throwing rocks and papers and scissors. But if they pick the other one, then you kind of get hit.
Yeah. But also, like, don't forget, if they're just trying to force hits, you can be really safe in a lot of ways, and that's really powerful with like just facing back airs and stuff, and they run into them and take free damage.
Yeah.
Another thing, though, is, like, when you ask me, like, when should I be jumping? Like, if you think about it, like, that's, like, essentially the same as asking, how do I be the best Sheik in the universe ever? Because, like, a large part of how good you are at Sheik is, do you know when to jump or not? Like, I can't, if I knew when to jump better, I would be a better Sheik, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like a thing you're going to constantly have to work on and rewrite.
Yeah. I just didn't realize why jumping was valuable, so I can make my own educated decisions.
Yes, now you do, so now you can work.
I was literally like, why do I as a human get dopamine from jumping?
Well, that's just because you get to push buttons. And that's
yeah.
because if you don't jump, you can't fast fall Nair. And if you can't fast fall Nair, there's no dopamine.
No dopamine.
Fast fall Nair is definitely the highest form of Sheik dopamine.
It is. Oh
that and run off of B.
Yeah, see, this is why we're friends.
Yeah, see, I understand. It's just none of this leads to winning. But it's sick. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to watching you versus Azel.
Okay.
And we didn't really watch anything yet, but that's okay. I just wanted to point out, that Azel, even versus other Sheiks, just kind of runs in because he just thinks Fox could... this is really common for Falco players that switch to Fox. They just play Fox and they think Fox can just do anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is That's one of the most common tropes in Melee is Falco player switches to Fox and thinks he gets to do whatever he wants because he's Fox now.
Yeah, this is very, very common.
Yeah, but what you do is you kill them because they don't understand that Fox doesn't have range and that Fox has bad risk reward. Because Fox's punish game is less consistent than Sheik's, and his stray hits don't lead to things. You can CC everything, you can SDI everything, and then once you do that, they're like, man, this sucks.
Yes, that's how I'm trying to be.
Okay, cool. So, going back to this, you should just be dash JC grabbing Azel's running shines, like you said.
That's what I wrote down.
But also, don't forget that I think messing up made you lose focus, which I think is the biggest thing. Because if he's just sitting near you doing nothing, because he's just on autopilot, he's just doing shit. So you should take advantage of that and just win neutral for free by being near him.
Yeah.
Because if you look at his movement, like look, laser, retreating laser, wave dash, laser, like he's not doing anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you should just go sit next to him and be like, hey, I'm here, and then he'll do something.
When I ran off, he did another laser, and that's when I guess he didn't look at me running off, and then
he literally wasn't looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
So you should take advantage of that.
Dash Jason Graham there, and I just kind of fell off. I might have been able to hold down on that up smash, and I should have definitely DI'd it away, so I don't get.
Yeah, but since you fell off, it kind of messed you up, and you didn't know what was happening.
I don't even know how I fell off. I just kind of.
Yeah, it was just your momentum was weird, and then you didn't
I was like, oh.
Yeah, so like again though, he didn't know you were gonna fall off. Like that's my point. Like he's just doing things.
Yeah.
But because you didn't do anything, you just got hit by it. But like realistically, you could have just double jumped back onto the platform, you know?
Yeah.
So literally all that Azel was doing was he was like, oh, I'm gonna run to the middle, and then he's like, oh, look, a Sheik, and then he shines.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good reactions by him. But again, that wasn't really an outplay. It was just you not being aware or ready. Also, I want to point out a little useful trick. When he was running shining and you were jumping, you could have back aired preemptively because you could have predicted that he would try to short hop out of his shine.
When he was running shining and I was jumping, I could have back aired?
Yeah, so you know how you were jumping and you're like, that was a bad jump or whatever?
Yeah.
So something you can do to fix it is do an early back air that wouldn't hit him if he stayed on the ground.
Oh, and then if he jumps into it,
you get the strong back air.
Oh, so it's like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it is like a Band-Aid. It's a really good fix at certain spacings, or it's just a good outplay, honestly. Like there's a lot of times with Sheik where I know a Fox is gonna jump, so I do my bear early.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that was like a useful little trick. Because like when I saw him running shining, I was like, oh, if Zayd bears early, like this works out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, if he wave dashes and CCs, it won't work. But like he's not gonna wave dash CC and then look for punish. Probably.
Yes.
And if he does, then I mean he just outplayed you, and that's fine. But also, if he does that, he would get hit by turnaround needle. So.
Yeah.
And then you can just grab him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, that was a full hop nair at this percent. I shouldn't be doing.
Well, you shouldn't be getting drilled afterwards. You know, if you full hop nair, you have mix-ups with fast falling and not fast falling, right?
Yeah. Could I have like double jump wave landed or?
Yeah, exactly. So short hop nair, you're stuck. You have to land. So you can only mix up fast fall and drift. But full hop nair, you have a double jump.
Okay, so I could have. Was that full hop nair a decent choice then?
I think it was okay. I mean, you got percent, and you might be able to be safe after.
Okay, well I just did not jump and then I died. I think I like died. Yeah, I died. I could have. I probably should have teched in place because that's the mix-up, right?
Yeah. Also, when you rolled and he nared at you, that was a free CC grab.
Down, yeah.
Yep. So see, it's like this is what I'm talking about the fear of Sheik. Like Azel's just like, yeah, why not nair, right? There's no why not, right? What could go wrong? And it's like he should die, and then he will know what could go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, like there's so many foxes that play exactly like this, so it's really, really, really useful to learn how to beat it.
Yeah, I remember specifically I was trying to up air out, ledge jump up.
Yeah, that looked like a tech skill error. That's why I didn't point it out. I was like, that looks like you messed up.
Yeah, but before that, I'm not too sure how to deal with like the up tilt shark. Maybe I could double jump waveland on the platform, but It's like after this, yeah.
Uh,
I could have wave landed on the platform.
yeah, I mean, that's always the easy answer out, right? Like, if you just wave land.
Yeah.
Also, you didn't have to double jump
Uh,
after you DI'd the upper. You could have fast fallen and just landed and shielded.
yes, we kind of covered that in our last lesson, or just having good defense. Yeah, I died at like 40.
Yeah, and it's like Fox getting a grab in the middle of stadium should not lead to you dying almost ever.
Yeah, I could have just done something.
Yeah, I think when you DI'd the up air, you should have just fell to the platform instead of double jumping.
I guess I didn't react to my SDF.
Yeah, you had to react to it and then be like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, Azel clearly has good execution and he has good punish, but it's like, you're giving him a lot of it.
Yeah.
Did you see what he did in neutral?
He did the same thing.
From like literally across the entire stage.
I could dash DC grab, I could boost grab, I could.
Yeah, and then also it worries me that you did dash forward, wave dash back because that was a useless action.
Yeah, in my notes I think I wrote like, why did I wave dash back after dashing?
It's like just stand still.
I could either dash forward or I could wave dash back, but combining the two like counters each other.
Yes.
It's like
and you don't. Well, I wouldn't even wave dash back from that far. I would just stand still.
Yeah, I could also do.
You could walk.
Grab. I've been doing that a lot recently, where I just standing grab if they're running at me. Yeah,
why not? I mean, he was so far though that you had time to jump. You had time to walk forward. You had time to do a billion things. Like, don't even limit yourself to just, I have to counter this by grabbing. Like, that's the easiest way to counter it because he's doing the exact same way every time.
I also wrote down, there are a lot of times where I can clearly just be like, and then walk forward and take stage.
Yeah, just walk forward. Or you could walk forward and then do a jump mix-up, like jump over him as he runs under.
Jump through back air.
Yep. So there's like a billion things that you already know. But the biggest thing is, one, you didn't play reactively because you did the dash forward, wave dash back. I think dash forward, wave dash back is one of the worst actions you can do in general, in neutral.
Yeah. What if you expect, well, maybe it was Fox, what if you just expect, like, a Sheik to whiff an F-tilt, and then you just want to grab it? It's still not good, because the wave dash back actually makes it hard to punish it. Yeah, you can wave dash in place, right?
Yeah, wave dash in place, or just dash dance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So dash forward, wave dash back is actually only good in spots where it's like, you dash forward, and it makes the Fox think you're going to boost grab or dash attack, and then you wave dash back, and he whiffs a nair, or he tries to running shine, and then you just F-tilt him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is specifically a good dash forward, wave dash back.
Yeah.
But outside of sequences like that, it's actually pretty bad.
Yeah, I've actually noticed some useless movements. I think in the SFAT analysis, I do this thing where I see him, I dash, and then I immediately dash the other way, but I'm dashing at him. He's clearly running at me.
And you just make it hard for yourself.
I dash JC grab, but I choose to dash at him, then dash away, and then I have no time to dash away.
Yes, and then you're screwed. When you could have just jumped, or you could have even wave dashed towards him, and then you guys swap spots. You could grab.
And like that dash forward, I could have just dashed back, or I could have dashed forward, or I could have done a standing grab. But
also, Plup does this thing where sometimes at those ranges, sometimes he full hops. And if the Fox is trying to interact with short hop and ground stuff, sometimes Plup just full hops. And then if they try to like nair, you get to fast fall and then set up like a situation.
Wait, say it again.
So like sometimes I see Plup do this thing where he full hops in neutral with Sheik where nobody else would. Yeah. But it's actually pretty good, I think, because if they're tunneled on short hop or ground, they might like running shine or short hop nair, right? But since you full hopped, you get to fall afterwards and then pressure wherever they landed. Does that make sense? Because they're whiffing something, and then even though Sheik's full hop takes forever, if they whiff something, then you have time to fast fall.
Yes.
And another aspect of it is that when Sheik full hops, she has a lot of drift compared to when she short hops, right?
Yeah.
So normally Sheik has limited mix-ups on that, but because full hopping gives you a larger like range of threat, or threat range, I guess, I think you can use it to be pretty ambiguous as long as they whiff as you full hop.
Okay.
Or as long as they're looking for a short hop or something like that.
Yeah, I've been because if you only full hop, eventually they'll be like, he's gonna full hop, and then they can like maybe up air it, right?
Yeah, or they can just like run under you more and then go for like full hop back air.
Yeah, I've been confused because like I've seen a lot of full hops by Griffin and Plup, and I've just been confused. Like they seem really good, but why? And why is it better than short hop?
Well, again, a big thing I think is they can't just see you jump and run under you, because if they're trying to run under you when they see a short hop, they'll just run into short hop fair every single time.
Yeah.
So like they can't just see you jump and go, oh, I'm just gonna run under Sheik every time.
Yeah, you can just because like you have all these options. Like if you just do short hop fair, then they'd be fucked. But so if you do full hop, then they're not gonna run under you, so you can set something up.
So I think it's actually a pretty good like mid to close range way to fight Fox is to do some preemptive full hops sometimes.
Do preemptive full hops. Okay.
But I mean, this is all like extra. Like I think we've actually talked about like a billion things today, but I think you should only pick like 2 or 3 of them and really like, make sure you can grab the running shines. Make sure you stay focused on defense. Make sure you don't give up space for no reason. Like those are the real big things, right?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so I guess.
Oh yeah, you wanted to like summarize a bit, right? So you should do that.
Oh yeah. So what I wrote down for this set was, I don't know if you saw because we didn't see too much, but I wrote prediction confirm whiffs better, react during wave dash, dashes, and jumps. So many times I'll wave dash back and then jump, but he just drilled in front of my face.
Oh, that's another one. Wave dash into jump is also one of the bad actions.
Yeah, I could just be during the wave dash. I could be like, oh, there's a fox in front of my face.
Yep. Or if you wanted to jump, you shouldn't have been wave dashing.
Yeah.
You should have either jumped already or dashed into it.
That's true. But what if you want to face the other way?
Wait, what do you mean? So let's say you're facing left.
Dash back and then jump.
Why not just short hop backwards?
Because then you're turned around, I guess.
No, you can short hop backwards without turning.
Oh, the backflip. Okay, yeah.
Right? So, like, if you want to be there, you can just be there.
Yeah.
You can even dash back pivot jump, and that's better.
Yeah? You could shield stop.
Yeah, I hate shield stopping.
Oh, really?
It's because pivoting is way cooler, I think.
That's true, but isn't it just a 1-frame burn?
I think it's actually longer because, like, if you're trying to, if you're slowing it down by a frame, you might mess it up sometimes anyway, if that makes sense.
That's true.
So, like, usually nobody is doing frame perfect shield stop.
That is true, yeah.
Because, like, if you're going to go for frame perfection, you might as well just pivot anyway.
Yeah.
So you're inherently using the shield stop to make it easier, right? And if you don't get a perfect shield stop, then you actually get your dash momentum, and then that defeats the point of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So then actually it's like deceptive. I think shield stopping is like only in some situations is it actually better.
Mm-hmm.
So shield stopping is better if you want to dash away and stop. Because you can't dash away, pivot, and then face the same direction. So if you want to do like dash away, shield stop, full hop bear or something, or like short hop bear, that could be good.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I'd say dash forward, wave dash back, and wave dash back into jump are 2 actions with Sheik that are 90% of the time that people do them, they're just bad and they shouldn't have been done, and there's some sort of missing reaction that caused it. Yeah. But sometimes they're good for specific things. So I tried to point out when I thought they'd be good.
He didn't whiff and I wave dash back. Why can't I jump after that?
Well, yeah, if you wave dash back and then everything just seems normal and you just think jumping is now a good option, that's fine. It's just that's almost never what happens. It's just people doing preemptive actions and then they just want to jump because they like jumping.
That makes sense. Okay.
Because I've seen lots of that's like a really common mid-level Sheik thing is that they do bad movement combos, but it's because they're not reacting.
The next thing was don't do aerials at bad percents that don't work in any universe, but I guess that full hop nair could have worked out.
Yes, so it's don't forget to think about double jumping, I guess.
Okay, and then don't die super early with clown DI and running off stage. That makes sense. Shadow boxing will keep you from whiffing when you can see that the spacing isn't right. Shield drop fair properly when he nairs you on plat. Oh yeah, whenever I'm on the plat and shielding, I've like never punished a full hop nair.
Well, then there's no point in shielding on the platform.
Can't I just but can't I just shield drop ferret?
Oh yeah, of course. I'm just saying, like, if you can't do that. Well, actually,
CC grab it.
yeah. I mean, you could. Well, is it like the rising nair or is it like a falling nair?
It's a rising nair.
Yeah. Rising nair you can always get. Falling nair is actually tricky though.
Yeah, because it's +0, right?
No, well, strong nair is, but even falling weak nair is tricky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I actually think for falling weak nair, you need to what's it called? You have to probably shield drop nair or back air.
Oh, okay.
Because it's too fast. Like, he can shine too quickly.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, but anything like rising, you should definitely just hit.
I believe he's not doing the weak. Yeah, I think he's doing.
No. I think he's not. I was just telling you in case.
Okay.
Like, you know how Fox does full hop weak nair? You can't shield grab it.
It's hard. Yeah. Okay.
No, you just literally can't shield grab it.
Okay.
You have to CC punish it.
Wait. You said you can't shield grab or shield drop?
Shield grab.
Oh, you can't shield drop weak nair?
Yeah, I mean they're the so full hop weak nair is like -5, I think.
Okay. Oh, got it. So then so you have to CC grab, but also like CC grab is also hard because you crouch so low. Maybe you need to taunt first.
You could jab first. I think that's the pro.
Yeah, that's cool. I thought about it. The F tilt you told me, but jab seems like it'll work.
Yeah, jab's also a cool one. I actually think though, I labbed it with Kalindi when he was here and I was Marth. And because Marth's crouch is pretty similar, and I was like, yo, can you just nair me while I'm crouching? And I could actually do it consistently. It just took some practice. It's pretty tough.
Okay. Wait, you said it was weak nair and you still got
Yeah, I tried both weak and strong nair out of short hop and full hop. Like, I just labbed like grabbing it consistently, and it's just like, even though I'm better than most people at CC punishing, I was still pretty bad at it till I practiced.
Wait, so does ASDIing down, like, does it stop working at a sooner percent than CC for this nair, right?
Yes.
How soon? Like, how big a difference is it?
So the differences are ASDI will cause you to get pushed back farther. So sometimes that'll just push you out of range.
Yeah.
And then the other aspect is it'll knock you over earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
But like I don't know the exact numbers, but like those are the only two variables.
Okay, but you could CC just works almost always, right?
CC works always except at very low percent.
Oh, because of the soccer guy angle?
Yes. But that's funny. Yeah, the CC is actually better though because you recover faster out of CC than ASD.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
Because the hit lag is different.
Okay. So anyway, the other things I wrote down were actively threaten him. I guess like at the beginning, dash dancing on the platform when he was clearly on the platform didn't seem useful.
Yeah, I was like, you might as well just get down.
Yeah, might as well. I could at least get needles, but probably get down and actively threaten him and like, yeah. That's a thing I saw Griffin do where he gets off and he's fighting him, whereas I'm like, I don't want to fight, I guess. The next thing I already talked about, become a grab addict in neutral. I just like, even at early percents, I'm like, I could have dash grabbed. Instead, I go for some convoluted like aerial in hopes that he doesn't punish it on hit, and then he does. Because for some reason I'm just afraid of grabbing, even though my grabs can be powerful. And I also need to put the fear of God in his heart. Don't do pressure. That's literally unsafe. Oh, there's like some point in the VOD where I do like full hop aerials on shield, and then he is not safe on shield. Don't be afraid to take risks. I think I just try to play in a way where a lot of the time where I just want him to like make a mistake. Whereas I could just be like, I think he will do this, and then hit him. And all I do, because of that, all I do is limited to this very runaway thing.
Wait, what was the last thing you said? All that you do is limited to what?
It's limited to very retreating motions, I think. But
yes.
Also, what's funny is during those retreating motions, even if they whiff, I don't react to the fact that they whiff.
Yeah. This is kind of what I said at SmashCon last year, when I was like, yeah, you're really good at the running away part of the game plan, but you weren't doing the other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think you've gotten way better at it, though, but you just need to keep pushing, get back towards, like, doing more things.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, if I talked about this when I'm in the corner, I gotta go out there to beat him up if he's dash dancing in center, way dash forward, F tilt, etc., or boost grab, like you told me yesterday.
Yeah, don't be. Essentially, it just seems like just don't be so afraid to hit people because like it sounds like the people you play are disrespecting your options pretty hard.
Yeah.
So you need to make them realize like, hey, you have to actually play the game with me. You can't just like do that.
Yeah, I've been getting farmed by the three dogs, Kevbot, Ralph, and Azel, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
That's funny.
Whiff punish with dash attack, educated risks. I think Griffin does a lot of educated risks, where he sees them doing something, he's like, oh, he'll probably do this, and he beats them up. Where I'm just like, I don't want to believe it until I see it.
Yep.
And the last thing is I give up when I'm losing because I think I'm doing something wrong.
But that's often not the.
Yeah. And also, like, I get flustered, like, how I made an error and then I just stopped doing the thing that I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about my game plan, like, when I wrote it down, but I didn't do the things in my game plan despite reading it and trying to internalize it, so I have no
So maybe you need to practice it more.
Yeah, maybe I just need to practice some more. Anyway, maybe we could spend, like, 5 minutes looking at this SFAT thing, because I reviewed every single interaction, and I would like to know if I'm thinking about the game the right way. So if you could open up the document, it's not in the outline, but it's between Ralph and Azel.
I found it.
Okay, so this is literally like there's a lot of notes for like very little time of the game, but yeah. So maybe could you put a watch together or something like that?
Let me look through it. I think, because I want to wrap up soon, I think it'll be best if I just look through it and then tell you what I. Because you can open up the set, right? Like you can just open it up on YouTube. Because if it's like that many things in a short period of time, it's gonna be too hard to like.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so.
Let me just read through it. So DD on plat, run off plat. Okay, so that's already the thing we talked about versus Azel, right?
Yeah, if I ran off the plat, I could probably threaten them a lot better than if I dropped through, I think.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, we already talked about that, right?
Yes.
You can see him running at you during the fall through.
Oh yeah, that's where I did the dash forward wave, the dash forward, dash back instead of like.
Yes.
If you see it.
That's one of the. Yes.
Then after that, I do a ledge jump needle. Do you think?
Wait. Let me just read through them.
Okay.
Because like I'm looking through them back and forth. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do think he could have still ran in. It's just you're making an educated guess.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right after the whiff of the aerial needles, I think I could just like
move forward. Nope. I agree. Waveland, you can look at him. Just okay, let me keep watching. No, I agree with everything you said.
Okay. Cool.
So you said after. Oh, fair. I think instead of I think I might have told you this once, I forget, but you shouldn't be wave landing forward, you should be wave landing in place.
Oh, really?
Because if you wave land forward, that limits your options. If you wave land in place, you have the room to shield, to dash, to fall back through, but when you wave land forward, it makes it easier for them to hit you.
That's true. Okay.
Because like SFAT, just jumped up there. But like if you had just wave landed in place, you could have seen him run up and jump, and then you could have just like sat on the platform and been safe. Because when you wave landed forward, that could have hit him with a fair. But what if you just full hop nared? You would have just got kicked in the face.
Yeah. What if is wave land in place less laggy?
It's not less laggy, but it's just you don't forcibly fall off the platform or put yourself right where they can hit you.
That's true. But if he nares, like, well, how do I CC or something? Like.
Well, no. If you wave landed in place, he would have just missed you.
Oh, is that how the spacing was?
Okay. Yeah, look at the spacing again. He would have missed, or it would have... Don't forget, even if it doesn't have less lag, the fact that it takes him longer to get to you kind of creates more frame advantage. Mm-hmm. Like, think about the fact that for him to hit the edge of the platform versus him to hit the middle of the platform, that takes him a few extra frames. So that's kind of the equivalent of being able to move sooner. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So let me keep watching. Let's talk about a couple more. I fall and drift away from him as I listen to do. Okay. I'm watching it. Through him. I agree with what you said, but I also think you should use the top platform more to just find a way to get down.
Okay.
It's more about getting down safely, and then if SFAT wants to just YOLO attack you, I think you could just do like a really well-spaced fast fall back air and it would hit him.
Okay.
But I think there's also a lot to think about here with like if you did fast fall through and hold right and then fast fall to get max drift and fast fall, I think you could have strong bared him before he got to you. Do you?
Oh, I never even thought about bear. I'm just thinking about wave landing.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if your tech skill was perfect, I think you could have back aired. But honestly, most of the times that'll result in weak back air. It's just it could have worked this time. But since you know SFAT's just gonna run, he's just gonna run at you, right?
Yeah.
So what you can do is you could fall through, and then instead of drifting right at all, you could actually do no drift, and no fast fall, and then at the last second drift left, and then he would run under you, and you could just fair him or needle him.
Yeah. Well, at the last second, or just the whole time, you just hold left?
I think you could fall through without drifting, and then for the last half of your fall, hold left.
Oh, okay. And then
because you don't want to go so far that you don't even hit him. Also, another aspect is if you drift as soon as you fall through the platform, that's more reactable for them.
Oh, okay.
Because once you commit to one drift, you can't change your drift. You can only fast fall or double jump.
Wait, so are you saying I could have fared him?
Yeah, I think you could have fell through, not done anything, then drifted left and fared, and it would have hit him.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, essentially, I'm just pointing out that he's making... It's not very obvious, but he's actually making a lot of assumptions with that decision.
Okay.
It's easy for him to make that assumption, because what Sheik is going to just fast fall, no drift to the left right now?
They don't do that.
Yeah, I don't do that. I never do that. But, like, I could do that, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, also, I think it would be really in your favor to do this. Like, you don't have to just move immediately. What if you just sat on the top platform for a second? He would have just ran to the left, ran to the right, looked for a running shine, and then you could have just sat there and ran off the other side, you know?
Yeah, I couldn't punish the running shine, like run off fair?
I mean, you could, but, like, don't try to view every situation as a way to get a hit, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's good to analyze how you could have hit them, because if you have the hard read, then you can just go for it. But I wouldn't say that you being on the platform should be you looking for a chance to outplay him. It should be you looking for him to just run in and then you get down safely.
Yeah, because what you really want is just to get down. You don't want to outplay.
Well, yeah, because the risk reward isn't good for you to try to fight Fox.
Yeah.
But if he does something stupid, or if he's too predictable, or if, there's so many variables, you could outplay him. But I'd say if we were talking super theory bros, it wouldn't be a great idea. But it could work still,
Yeah, that's true. At 3 minutes, I die at like 20% to 4 up airs. How should I have DI'd these up airs?
Okay, let's look at this and then wrap it up. Okay. So... Oh, when you needle time, you could have grabbed or shield drop fared. I think I told you about this before.
When did I needle?
You needled at around like 253 or something when he jumped up towards the platform.
I could have grabbed or shield drop fared, you said?
Yeah, after those needles. You even had 2 of them.
Oh, yeah. I think I realized that as well when I saw it.
There's no reason to run off, but let me look for the uppers. Oh, well, none of that comboed.
So I just jump.
So the first one to the second one is a little tricky, because let me look at it. You probably couldn't have jumped. You would have had to, like, fast fall onto the platform and tech it.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a pseudo combo, kinda.
Yeah, so I couldn't have jumped, you said?
I don't think you could have jumped out of the first one to the second one.
Yeah, because even if I jumped, he's still, like, above me, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. But you could have fast fallen and teched on the platform if you wanted. But you also could have just not DI'd it all the way to the left if you wanted. That wasn't that bad, but I'm just letting you know. Don't forget, you can always just not DI.
And I think the third and fourth ones I could have tap jumped out, right?
Yeah, so the third one, you definitely could have double jumped left, or you could have fast fall fared.
Oh, I never fast fall out of my things. I should have
Yeah, you need to fast fall out of hits. So, like, if you watch it, is it clear that you could just fast fall? Like, I would fast fall and fair and maybe hold a little bit to the left.
Okay, I will remember that. Now it's clear. What about the last one? I think I could have jumped out of that too.
Let me see. I think you could have jumped, but only because he did it wrong. I actually think he should have been able to true combo it.
Oh, okay. And
but yes, you could have jumped.
Should I not have DI'd the... Even if assuming I get hit by the third one, I shouldn't have DI'd it in all the way? Because then...
Well, that's tricky, because, like, at that point, like...
Well, you can go anywhere, huh?
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, if you know he's gonna up... Like, well, the thing is, it just wasn't a combo. You should have just dodged the combo. Because you shouldn't think to yourself, oh, well, what if I get hit? Because it's like, that up air should never be so juicy, because you can always avoid the super juicy up airs, usually.
But you said the third to fourth is a true.
It should be, but it wasn't.
Yeah, so...
But he could have done it as a true combo.
Is there a way to DI it, the third one, or no?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could DI it up and slightly to the left, and you would go off stage.
He wouldn't be able to up air me then?
No, I don't think so. He didn't have enough room to dash.
Oh, okay. Wait, like full left or just slight to the left?
Slight left. Because if you DI full left, then you'll just die to the edge guard.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
Cool. But you should have just dodged the combo.
I should think about asphalt fairs though. Anyway,
cool.
So...
Also, don't forget that using different aerials changes your hurt box. So sometimes even naring or bearing or up airing or fairing, all of those can just shift how Sheik's body is and cause certain things to miss her.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you just nair, it flattens your body. So sometimes a hit that would have hit you won't hit you anymore.
Yeah, I pretty much never aerial out of combos, even though I see everyone else doing it. I really should.
Yeah, you should try it.
It's like for trade and nair, so I wouldn't like trade with an up air.
Yeah, which is still better than just dying.
Yeah. I'm thinking about when I SDI up airs, I should press Z right before I input C stick, and to SDI, I try to time the stick, the left stick, and then I do a little swipe up, because I think I get 2 inputs if I do it right in that case. And then right before it, I think I should press Z, because then I'll nair, I think.
Maybe. You can try it and see.
That's just
you can try it.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up now. Good talk, though. Feel like it was productive. Yeah. Work hard on the stuff and let me know how it goes.
I will try. Thank you very much.
All right. Yep. See you, Azel.